Now we are complete. How nice. Suan, always a pleasure. And today, not only did I put my outer garments on for this cold, but I got coffee. So there's that for this morning. Once again, guys, good morning. And I have 2 days of Smerconish to catch up on, but no, I have 2 days of Smerconish to cover. Uh, few thoughts. Few thoughts on what was covered in the past week. I'll offer my thoughts and my opinions. And then let's go over the newsletter, and then if we have any time remaining, I'll bring you in. So let's check that out. And then I think we figured out a schedule. I think I figured out a cadence. Let's see how Sunday goes, because Sunday I want to be my free for all. But and I know it's a little disruptive to the whole previous schedule, but let's like I'm comfortable with the cadence. A couple days ago, happy hour. Remember on the stream, I was like, yeah, happy hour was this thing that I always aspired to because I was a college kid, and I thought, maybe it's a sign of growing up and it's adulting. First of all, I didn't expect Michael to host his own happy hour. Now, is it going to be a happy hour for the generation that he wants to target? I don't think so. But hey, listen, it's something. It's a reason to mingle, right? I'm sort of wondering how it's going to be mingly. If not everybody can talk, maybe some people in the chat. I don't know. But whatever, good for him. He's making the effort. I want to transition over into the poll question. Yes, 2 days ago. It's a great question, in my opinion, really overdue. When Mark Halpern was saying there could be a method to Trump's madness, walking into something, shaking it up, and just the chips happen to fall into a better place than they were before the shake. There has to be something to it. I don't think there's that much intention before Trump goes in and shakes something up. I just think he goes and shakes something up and hopes for the best. Go ahead and think Mexico will build the wall. That's he went in and shook something up and came up with some ridiculous scheme to say that the USMCA was Mexico paying for the wall. I'm going to take a break from my spiel right now, and I want to make sure Hamilton White is on this because I like Hamilton, and I want to make sure he's on. Guys, is he on? Ham, are you on? Let me know. I'm going to continue with the spiel. So the method to the madness, you know what? I can actually go ahead and think about it a little bit. Trump 1, for sure, no method to the madness. Trump 2, I think, is just a little more method to the madness just because of the experience he's had in and out of office. In and out of office over the past 10 years. That's my opinion. That's where I fall on that scale. I also want to draw attention to the end of Mark Halpern's piece on Wednesday on the Smerconish program. Mark's audience definitely leans right. No question. I've been on his two ways too long to know that they lean right. Michael's leans left, in my opinion, when it comes to the poll. But is this a left-leaning listening audience? I'll leave that up to you. Discuss that in the chat. I want to hear what you have to say. But I think the listeners are just stuck in the middle with you, right? So that's what I think on that. Transitioning to yesterday. I watched that video so many times, and I forgot who. I think one of us smirks said, excuse me, one of those smarks said, they stopped watching it just because they didn't want to relive it that many more times. That's how I began to feel about Minnesota. Before I get into the content of the video, just think of Minnesotans. They're going through the Somalia thing. Walls drops out. Walls authorizes National Guard to be used. ICE has activity in Minneapolis. I mean, damn, is Minnesota the center of the news these days? And then this happened. Like, that's exhausting. Just that, and that's just Minnesota. If you take Michael's philosophy and you say, well, the fraud is widespread, it's not just Minnesota. And if you take the ICE presence and increased National Guard presence in other cities and other states, it's not just Minnesota. So there's this little part of me that's thinking, is this whole Minnesota thing a microcosm of the country, states in the country, blue states, or is Minneapolis or is Minnesota its own case that's just really unlucky with a lot of federally stricken chaos after news headline after news headline? It's that was the first thought when I saw Minneapolis in the headlines regarding the video. And then the video. Is there any more perfect case for people seeing what they want to see? And, you take the case like Derek Chauvin, there's very little room for doubt that Chauvin crossed the line. Right or wrong, it wasn't normal. It wasn't normal. The conduct of any police officer, in my opinion, I should say almost any police officer, if there is room for doubt on their safety, and I'm talking about room for doubt because this happens in 2 seconds where they have to make a decision to defend their life, I think you defer to the police. And without that deference, I think society would be worse off. Do I think a life was taken unnecessarily? I do. Do I think that the victim in this case, or the deceased, was pursuing ICE to harm them? Maybe. There's no certainty here. Nobody can get into the mind of either one of them. Maybe the ICE officer, but that's the best I could think of. So you got to defer to the police. Going on to the Smerconish program and his coverage of it, I don't really remember any episode, and you guys may know better than me, where he spent 3 hours on the same topic. The only time I remember, and God, is there a difference between the two situations, is 9/11, I think the 10-year anniversary. 3 hours, one topic. So I mean, and it was a very respectful, pluralistic conversation. I couldn't have thought of a better way to do it. And I go to my Instagram feed or something like that, and I see these right wingers saying, "Look at how this cop is instituting law and justice by stopping the people who are out to kill cops." And you have other people, and then you had another person saying, when somebody, so there's a Talmudic saying in Judaism: if somebody comes to kill you, rise up and kill them. Very common sense kind of thing, Guy is running at you with a knife with a very clear intention of harming you. You can harm him back. It just makes sense of reciprocity here. And one of the more extremist people on my feed are like, "Look at how righteous this law enforcement officer is, enforcing a Talmudic directive that we should all learn, love, cherish. It's part of our religion." I'm like, what kind of twisted thinking is this? You don't know any of what you're talking about. And this is where we stand, right? We want people to engage with the Smerconish philosophy and people and way of thinking even more. That's what I have to say on that. Um, Last but not least, let's go through today's newsletter. I'm going to offer some comments, and then I'm going to put a participant link in the chat. You guys can hop on as soon as that's done. Let me share my screen, and we'll get rocking and rolling. Hamilton is here. Good morning, sir. Oh, and Kiki. All right. Nice. Let's see. I'd like to change the setup here. Perfect. All right, cool. Yeah, I was asking, and it's funny when I was asking about Hamilton, and it's funny when I announced that I was doing this whole streaming thing. If, for those of you who don't know what happened on our group chat, I use voice to text, and I said I have tremendous respect for his knowledge and experience, and then voice to text for some reason said I have no respect. So I had some rectification to do. Anyways, Hamilton and for anyone else really, there was no link yesterday. I didn't stream yesterday. I streamed Tuesday, Wednesday, and today as well. I did send out an email last night about today's stream. You can always just subscribe to the channel, which is in your first email. It's the participant link that I'll be putting in the chat that you could just click on it on a desktop once I put it in the chat, and then we can actually interact. You could call into the stream, and everybody else will see you. It's really cool. All right, without further ado, did ICE reasonably? Oh, okay, here we go. Right. Did the ICE agent reasonably believe the woman in the SUV posed to him a significant threat of death or serious physical harm? You don't know, but wait, what are the options? It can't just be yes or no, right? Oh my God, it is yes or no. I don't know. I don't know what to say. Reasonable doubt is what I'm thinking. I can't. There's no answer here. There's no answer here. All right. So now for me, thinking that Minnesota had a rocky month. I mean, Portland just got drawn into it over here, and what I do have to say is, if that woman in Minnesota was following those ICE agents around, impeding their work, I, what is the anti-ICE sentiment thinking? Obstructing police work. Why do they feel empowered to obstruct police work? I think there's a problem of legitimizing obstructing police work, and that is an issue. In the end of the day, ICE is only enforcing the law of the land. Is it screwed up? The law of the land? Yeah. Does it need updating? Yeah. That's but the anti-ICE people cannot feel empowered to I'm taking a stand and obstructing law enforcement because I disagree with the laws. Maybe that's a little better. I like that. Okay. So two shot by federal agents. Now, what were they doing? Were they obstructing? Something to think about. Okay, the Shah of Iran. It actually gets into what I was discussing last time. I think it was on the first stream. In Iran, would you reinstitute the Shah system? That's right now. That's the crown prince. He's the Shah's son. he's expressed very, I would say, clandestine interest in playing a role in a transitional government, maybe being some sort of dictator like his father was. I don't, he was, I guess, intentionally vague. And he's saying that given that there's mass demonstrations now, go ahead, cut the internet and phones. Um, it's safe. I mean, does he have the best interest of Iran at heart? I think so. I just think Iran's better off with him. So whether it's intentional or not, I think he has the best interest of Iran with him. So let's see. Michael, that was I guess from yesterday. He went through those. So when Michael went through those manuals and stuff, that's exactly the stuff I'd love to do, but I don't have that kind of commitment. Um, Trump was restrained by his own morality. Really, since when? The authority of the commander in chief is only limited by his own morality. So apparently, he also stopped a second wave of Venezuela attacks. I guess he may say just because of his own morality, right? ICE agent involved in the Minnesota shooting is ID'd. Oh, that's a shame. That's a shame. He's gonna get rocked in his personal life and his family too. And you can't say he deserves it. He hasn't gone through court of law. I'm gonna respond to that. Harvey, why not? Well, listen to what I said a little more closely. The Shah or the Crown Prince may have the best interest of Iran by accident, not by intention. Iran was better off with the Shah installed. And if the Crown Prince wants to reinstall that system of government by accident, he could have the best interest of Iran at heart. Make sure you call in. Same ICE agent prior incident. Oh, apparently there's a history now. The ICE agent who shot Renee Good in Minneapolis was previously dragged more than 100 yards and hospitalized during a traffic stop last year. An incident cited by federal officials as context for his claim of self-defense. Okay, but wait. Prior incident has nothing to do with self-defense here, but that adds context. It adds context. Miami beats Ole Miss in Fiesta Bowl. Well, sorry, not interested in that. Gotta scroll past that. Copter pilot was injured in Maduro raid. Oh, I guess that's the one that was shot but still flyable. Okay, but happy there are no casualties in that operation. Senate restricts Trump on Venezuela. So I'm very happy to see Congress is like doing something for once. Taking a stand, some against their own party. Congratulations, everybody. Bipartisan review, the Senate voted to advance legislation requiring Trump to seek congressional approval for any new action in Venezuela, exposing growing GOP divisions after Maduro's episode. Well, I'd like to see if it becomes law. And by God, can you imagine with me for a second here? Imagine they pass it with 2/3 and Trump has to listen. I mean, it's War Powers Act all over again. GOP revolt over healthcare. Well, to add to the rebellion, right? You have healthcare that they're rebelling over. Frankly, I don't understand the GOP's mission in they want to give money back to the people instead of subsidizing healthcare. What does that mean? Healthcare checks. I mean, I that's the most clarity I ever got out of the GOP for their proposal. And don't get me wrong, I don't really like Obamacare, but GOP got to come up with something. And oh my God, they're just not letting this Tish thing go. So I'm obviously a New Yorker, Tisha James, right? And I've met her. I've interacted with her plenty. Tisha James is so wrong for going after Trump the way she did, for campaigning the way she did. And yeah, this lawfare is not the way to do it. Okay. Mladinov is leading Trump's Board of Peace. Who is this guy? I have to read more about him. Maybe we'll discuss that on Sunday. New Yorker perspective. I'm drinking coffee here. I don't have a dog to walk. And I say the fruit as orange, not orange. That's my New York perspective. Yeah, I have a lot more to say on the Tish James kind of thing, but there's some other things that might restrict me. You know what I'm saying? All right. Let's X out of that and let's bring people on. So let me get a link for you guys. If you are on a desktop, feel free to click on this link, raise your hand, and we can chat away. You let me know. And so for now, what am I keeping my? Well, let me see what this whole Board of Peace thing is. Yeah, who is this guy? Oh, it's a Ground News thing. And I don't have a subscription to Ground News, not yet, at least. Hand is raised. I didn't get a hand raised. Antique X-Ray. See, I don't know you well enough to know who that is by name. Make sure you do click the link. Let me put it in the chat once again. There we go. Ooh, yeah. Regarding Letitia James, I mean, how many times can you go after indicting the same person? Until it's a moot point. It's just a moot point. And Sean, the hand raise. Desert Sunset. The hand raise, to be honest, it should be the middle, right under your video frame. It's yes, the request to call in live. Yeah. That's the one. It's fine. Yeah, I think you joined a couple of days ago. You figured out the process. Cute. I guess that's the reason. Mark, where are you in NYC? I want to see where you are there. Yeah, but okay, move on regarding Tish James, but I mean, come on. Sean's on.
Just trying to see what works, trying to
navigate
the new system here.
All right, no, it's good. It's cool.
I don't really have much
I gotta see. I gotta see. Oh wow. Let's see. Let me see if we got two here. We could get two.
Well,
Fabrizio.
Good morning, Fabrizio.
Morning. So yeah, not only am I trying to see how this tech works, I'm trying to see how I can build this into the whole system. If it's even worth it. I gotta see.
Now it says Fabrizio raised his hand. I see that on mine now.
Yeah, he raises it and he called in. So wait, on the audience side, when you click that link, how does that work? There's a call in button on the bottom?
Well, first it says request a live call in, and then there's another button that says something like live call or call or
okay.
I don't remember the exact thing, because at the bottom there are different like hands clapping and things like that, and I was looking and thumbs up, so I was looking for a hand raise there but didn't see it.
Cool. All right, nice. All right, cool. Any thoughts? Politics? You like Smerconish? You hate Halpern? Tell me something.
I like Smerconish. I actually like Halpern most of the time. I was surprised when I went. I haven't done it much now, but during the election time, I was listening to the two-way as well too, and I found them to be much more pro-Trump on that. I found him to be more centrist when he's on Michael's airwaves. So that was surprising to me. But
that's fair. He
Mhm.
is more centrist on Michael's airwaves than he is on the two ways. Uh, yeah, I know. I
And I
listened
don't
to
have a problem
both.
with it. It was just surprising to me because my experience with him had been on Michael's show the whole time.
Right,
And
right. And he had an event. He had an event in Manhattan,
mm,
and I went. It was with Dan and with Sean, and it was cool. It was cool. It was a pretty right wing event. Don't get me wrong. In the middle of New York City, on the bottom, the basement of a bar. But yeah, it was something.
does that say
It was
something that
something.
they put you in the basement of the bar? Or?
Oh yeah, there was a VIP gathering upstairs, and I'm like, well, I do want to shake their hand, so I got the VIP ticket. Yeah,
Mm.
but basement of a bar, no, that's totally normal. It's
Well,
totally normal in New York City. In
you shook their
Manhattan,
hand.
that's
Here's a question for you because at Michael's town halls, I shook RFK Jr.'s hand,
yeah,
and
I was there. Yeah,
I can't think of any other person that I am really disappointed that I shook their hand, and I wish I could take it back.
the day before that, I was at the Celebrate to Israel parade in on Fifth Avenue in the city, and he was there,
Mm.
and I was like to him, "I'll see you tomorrow." I'm sure he had no idea what I was talking about. And then the next day at that town hall, I saw him, and I'm like, "Remember me?" He goes, "No." I'm like, "All right, fine." But someone's single-handedly destroying the health of this country, and I'm not against the new health guidance that he came out, like more protein, more whole milk. I love that stuff.
Mm.
Love that. That makes perfect
Well,
sense.
I think everything's suspect from him though, just because of his vaccine outlook. And the way I come from it, that's not my background, but my father was an MD and a PhD in genetics and did medical research and worked on vaccines. And what I always say is I was vaccinated for everything. And he knew his stuff. I can't believe he would have us vaccinated if he thought there was an issue with it.
I know. And listen, I'm going through it now with two kids, 3 and 1. I mean, I'm going the way of science, and why disrupt everything? I mean, everything should be questioned, but it's been
I
proven too
can't
much.
remember the last time I had the mumps or measles or polio. Wait, I
Yeah,
do remember. I haven't had any of them.
right. So there's that. Sean, thanks for calling in.
No. Thanks
Everybody
for
else,
continuing this.
all right, you got it. Everybody else have a great day and a great weekend.